Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be going over how to create your business plan in real estate. If you're new here, my name is Allie Daniels and I discuss all things real estate growth. Now today, specifically for this example, we are going to be going over how to create a real estate business plan that will net you $100,000 annually. So let's dive right in. The very first place we're going to start, of course, is with your annual net income goal. So for our example, this is going to be $100,000. Now, the next thing you want to do is consider your brokerage splits. So for this specific example, we are going to assume that your brokerage takes 30% per closing. So then you're going to multiply $100,000 by 1.3%, which tells you how much you need to gross in GCI, gross commission income, before you net $100,000. So that means that to net $100,000, if your brokerage takes 30%, then you need to have $130,000 in gross commission income annually. Now, our goal is next to figure out how many units or homes you need to sell in order to make that amount of money. And to know that amount, we need to know what your average commission amount is. Now, I have to have a disclaimer here. Commission is fully negotiable. So you get to decide what you charge between you and your clients. So for this example, we are going to use 2.5% commission. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump over here to figure out your average commission amount. The first thing we do is we take your average sale price. If you're new, you can use your brokerage's average sales price. So for this example, we'll use $350,000 as the average sale price, and we're going to multiply that by our commission rate of, again, in this example, 2.5%. Fully negotiable, you can input your commission amount, and that means that your average commission amount is about $8,750 per transaction. So to figure out how many homes you need to sell, we are going to take our 130,000 gross commission income goal, divide it by our average commission amount of 8,750 to get roughly 15 total homes sold. It actually comes out to 14.85, but I don't know about you, we're not going to be selling 0.85 homes. So I like to round up in these examples. So now we know that you need to sell 15 properties at an average sales price of $350,000 with an average commission amount of 2.5% to reach $100,000 net income goal annually. But now the question is, that's great. How do we do it? The first step is figuring out what metrics you need to meet annually to be on track to reach your income goal based on average conversion rates. So not everybody we talk to is going to set an appointment with us. Not every appointment we have is going to be a client who signs an agreement to work with us. Not all of those clients who sign an agreement will actually go under contract, and not all of those under contract properties will close. So we need to figure out what percentage of each of those metrics do we need to make sure we reach in order to get our annual income goal. So we work backwards, and here's how we do it. So now we know that you need to sell 15 units annually, 15 closed units. So what we're going to do is we're going to divide that by the percentage of properties that are under contract that actually close. I like to use 90% for this. It might be higher, it might be lower. You can input your percentages here, but I like to use 90%. So that means that you need to have 16.67 properties that actually go under contract. Now, the next thing we need to figure out is how many signed clients you need to have. So we're going to take that 16.67 and we're going to divide that by a conversion rate of about 80% of your clients going under contract. That gives us 20.83 signed clients that you will need if that conversion rate is true. Then we'll divide that by 70%. And this is assuming that 70% of the appointments for buyers or sellers that you go on will actually turn to clients. So we take our 20.83, we divide it by 70%, to get 29.76 appointments that you need to hold annually. Now from here, we divide that number by 90%, assuming that 90% of the appointments that you set actually happen. And that gives us 33.07 appointments that you need to set. Now, the last conversion rate that we use is how many conversations turn into appointments set. So we're going to take our 33.07 and divide it by the industry standard of about 3.5% of the conversations we have that turn into appointments set, which means that annually, to reach our income goal, we need to have 944.82 conversations. And this is a two-way conversation, meaning you reach out to someone and they respond. That could be face-to-face, over the phone, text messages, social media direct messages, emailing back and forth. Any form of communication at all works for this. Now, the only conversion rate in here that is actually an industry standard is the 3.5%. So if someone knows you, likes you, and trusts you, we call them a person in your sphere of influence who should be in your database that you're reaching out to consistently. Now, those people have a higher conversion rate to setting appointments with you. It's around 5%. And if it is somebody that you do not know at all, this is a completely cold relationship. For example, think of a cold call. The conversion rate is around 1%. So we go right in the middle of that at 3.5%. So now this all works backwards. This is the fun part. So this tells us that if you have 944.82, we're going to round that up to 945 conversations annually, and 3.5% of those people set appointments with you, you will set 33.07 appointments. And if 90% of those appointments set actually happen, you will go on 29.76 appointments. And if 70% of those appointments turn into clients, then you will have 20.83 signed clients. If 80% of those clients go under contract, then you will go under contract 16.67 times. And if 90% of those properties that are under contract actually close, guess what? You're going to close 15 units annually. So this is how we figure out the metrics that you want to build your business on. Now, the next thing is to figure out, okay, how do I use this to create my business plan? What do I need to be doing every week, every month, every day in order to make sure I'm on track? So now we're going to jump down into our weekly goals down here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take your annual conversation goal, which is the 944.82, and we're going to divide that by 52 weeks in the year. That means that every week you need to be having about 18 conversations with different people in order to set appointments. Now, the next thing we need to know is how many appointments set that you need to have every week. So we're going to take your appointment set goal, which is right here, your 33.07. So we take 33.07, which is your annual appointment set goal, and we divide that by 52 weeks in the year, which is 0.64 weekly appointment set. You could just round that up to 1, but it's good to know what the actual metric is. And then our last one is how many appointments held that you need to have weekly. So we take your appointments held number, the 29.76, which comes from right here. And again, we divide that by 52 weeks to give you 0.57 weekly appointments held. So this roughly means you need about a little over 2 appointments every month. So now, if you want to know what your monthly goals should be, we can jump down here and do your monthly annual goals. So we're going to take your annual conversation goal again of the 944.82 and divide it by 12 months. That means that every month you need to be having about 79 conversations. The last one here, annual appointments, we're going to start with appointments set. So again, our goal is 33.07. We'll divide that by 12 months, and that means that you need to set about 2.76 appointments every month. So you could go ahead and round that up to 3. I personally would. The last metric is your annual appointments held. So that is 29.76 annual appointments held divided by 12 months. That gives us 2.48 monthly appointments held. So you could, again, round that up to 3. That is likely what I would do personally. So this is our video part 1. Now our next video is going to talk about how to lead generate to make sure that you are having your 18.17, we're going to round that up to 19, weekly conversations. And we're also going to talk about how to make sure that you are systematizing your business, utilizing a database to maximize the number of warm referrals and appointments set. So if you enjoyed this, like, comment, subscribe for part 2, which will be coming out next week. Can't wait to see you then. Have a great day.